Hello and welcome to Exploited Crimes and Technology. My name is Opal Singleton. I'm the host of this show. We come to you every Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock right here on AM 590, The Answer. More than 5 years we've been doing this. It's kind of crazy. I'm actually looking back, it might have been close to 6 or 7 years that we've been doing this. And I've met so many people along the way. And it's been such a pleasure. By the way, it sounds like it's been, like it's over. It is not over by any means. But this week I had a really, really special week. And I kind of wanted to share some of that with you. For those of you that don't normally follow this show is really dedicated to the same thing that our nonprofit organization is. That's millionkids.org, millionkids.org, not .com. That's a rock band, but .org. And we are dedicated to keeping kids safe from predators. So I usually use this show to talk about, things, how the grooming process works, some of the cases that are out there, some of the laws that are taking place, how you can kind of bulletproof your kid and like that. But this day, I want to just kind of share with you all the different activities going on, some good, some bad, across our state about things related to keeping kids safe from predators. So January was National Human Trafficking Month, Awareness Month, and a lot of activities took place. I ended up making 29 presentations over a 30-day period. Actually, I did 14 of them, 7 each on every Monday out at Beaumont High School with a bunch of the kids that are out there. And it was an interesting month for me because it opened my eyes. A lot of times when you do the kind of research I do, you have a tendency to look at a lot of cases, and there is a lot of negative going on. But I went to Beaumont High, and by the way, I wasn't by myself. The team from Riverside County District Attorney's Office, that what they call the RCAHT team, the child exploitation team, came out, and they brought their device sniffing dogs, and the kids just absolutely loved it. So we trained 3,300 kids over a course of 2 days. Every hour for 7 hours. My knees were killing me standing there. And I have a lot of invitations to do more of that. We're kind of pulling back on it because it just takes everything you have to entertain 300 or 400 kids at a time talking about sex and how to keep them safe and keep their attention and like that. But the team, Joel and Jason, came out from RCAHT and they showed off their device sniffing dogs. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Riverside County, and I think San Bernardino County too, I'm not sure, have these dogs. In this case, it was a Chewy and Solo. And they have taught these dogs on how to sniff out thumb drives and hard drives and like that. There's glue on those kinds of devices, and they can teach them to sniff out the glue. To the dogs, it's a game. But of course, for a pedophile who is looking to hide a whole lot of child pornography on a device, it's not a game. It's the rest of their lives. But they will, pedophiles, when you go out to arrest them, usually keep these devices and they'll put them in the walls and the ceilings and the floor and even the dirt and all kinds of things. And these dogs can come in there and just sniff these out. And so we went out and talked to the kids out at Beaumont High about the crime of trafficking and also sextortion. We think that it's just so much better if they can understand what it's about. And that's always a little tricky. You don't want to traumatize kids because the reality is once you become a victim of sextortion, and especially if you become a victim of sex trafficking, your life changes forever. Sextortion is blackmail with a photo or a video or maybe a live stream that they have recorded for you. And in that case, it's a situation where the kids get blackmailed. These people want money, they want more photos, and the kid just absolutely panics. And especially young guys. And there's a lot of trends going on about that right now. While I'm on a roll, I think maybe I'll just go ahead and tell you about them right now. There are several ways. You think, well, first of all, how are you going to get a kid to send a naked photo? Well, it isn't all that hard these days, and that's the reason why we do the work we do. I want the kids to understand where those photos go when you hit send and what's about to happen. And it can be absolutely deadly. It can be, an individual that is focusing in on one young person, or they may have many, many victims. Most of you know that we made a film. Actually, it was made by Stephen and Maria Peak. I'm the executive producer of it. But that film is called Sextortion, The Hidden Pandemic. And if you and your family have not seen that, or your grandkids or your kids, you need to go to sextortionfilm.com and download that film. Actually, they tell you how to go and purchase it at Apple iTunes or one of those kinds of things. Vimeo is one of them. And of course, Amazon Prime has it also. Sextortion, The Hidden Pandemic. And you really need to do that and look at that film and understand it. There's no age restriction for it, but it tells several stories of how this happened. And it's really important that parents know how this happened because of the fact that it's a variety of kinds of ways. And the truth is, I spend as much time helping parents overcome their denial as I do with kids, because the real source behind this is the idea that it isn't going to happen to you. And it ends up happening to you. Maybe it's an individual that becomes close to your kid and your kid sneaks out and disappears, or in some cases, it ends in death. Other times, the relationship will go on for a long time and they want more photos. And what the young person doesn't realize is many of those photos are being bought and sold and traded in large-scale dark web child pornography rings where multiple pedophiles can access your child. And that's usually all about blackmailing your child into sending more photos, more horrific photos involving other people in the photo, and they're threatening to hurt them at school to blackmail them and like that. But oftentimes now what we're seeing, which is just really, really scary, are foreign national telemarketing companies out of Ivory Coast, out of Belize, out of the Philippines or Pakistan, and they will get a young person, and these are mostly young males that are playing video games, and they will get these young people to send a photo thinking it's a 14-year-old or a 16-year-old, somebody who's really hot, and the blackmail begins. In this case, they want money, and they want a lot of it, and they want it now. And they will hound these kids. And what we're seeing are young people who very quickly panic and commit suicide. So it's real important that you sit down with your kid, look at this film immediately, talk about whatever you do, don't ever, ever, ever send a photo online. The minute you do, you're at risk of being blackmailed either for more photos or meetups where you get sexually violated, or even worse, you get into one of those telemarketing companies and they just make your life living hell. And so in those cases, share with your young person, you hope that it never, never, never happens. But if it does, they need to tell you and not panic and not take their own life. It goes very, very quickly. These guys are absolutely ruthless, and our young people are just not able to stand against them. So have that conversation first before it happens. And if you see your child engaged in any of that kind of activity that might put them at risk, take a look at it and report it. Do not alert that pedophile that you're going to go to the police department. Just simply go to the RCAHT unit. If you're in San Bernardino, there's an RCAHT unit out of Fontana Police Department, In Riverside, it's called the Riverside County Child Exploitation Team, RCET, RCCET, at the District Attorney's Office. But don't alert the person that you know what's happening, but do go and get help and get your young person assistance and get them counseling, because their life will change forever. Well, I didn't mean to go all that deep into this in the first segment, but I was on a roll and I want to share it with you because it is where my heart is. It's where we're spending a lot of time. I was so impressed with the young people at Beaumont High and how well they listened and they understood and they asked questions and they wanted their picture taken with the dog. And the very fine young people out there at that high school, and I was proud to be able to participate with them. Well, we're coming up against that break. My name is Opal Singleton. This show is called Exploited: Crimes and Technology. We are up against that break, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
Are you tired of eating at the same old restaurants? Let me tell you about a fabulous Italian restaurant we found in Riverside, Mamma Mia's Italian Restaurant. Their caprese salad is exquisite with candied balsamic glaze. All of their sauces are special recipes using only the best olive oils. The salads are fresh and healthy. They offer a wonderful array of pastas, including shrimp scampi, capellini, bolognese, and lasagna. They're famous for their gourmet pizza, and you can order online for takeout or have a special date for dining in with family and friends. Mamma Mia's caters special occasions and hosts private events. You have to try it out. Mamma Mia's Italian Restaurant, located at 10971 Magnolia Avenue in Riverside, 1 block north of La Sierra on Magnolia. That's Mamma Mia's in Riverside. Be sure to tell Michael, Alex, or Joseph you heard it on AM 590 The Answer.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of MillionKids.org. I believe the 4 most powerful words on earth are I believe in you. So we created a challenge coin that says I believe in you on one side and stand tall, you are loved on the other side. This one-of-a-kind challenge coin is a perfect gift for birthdays, anniversaries, graduation, Christmas presents, or just an anytime gift for someone you love. What a powerful message for a parent or a grandparent to give to a young person. This 2-inch coin is made of polished gold. It's striking to look at, and it is priceless to hold. It is packaged in a beautiful black velvet gift box. What a great way to leave a legacy of love that will last forever. To purchase this coin, go to millionkids.org/gallery. Each coin is $25. Go to millionkids.org/gallery to purchase and give a legacy of love.
Real estate sales in the Inland Empire are really hot. Sellers and buyers recognize that these low interest rates will not last. Sean and Colleen at Caldwell Banker Armstrong Properties in Riverside are proud to sponsor this show. They are the best in the Inland Empire. They're fair, honest, creative, and they care about you and your situation. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Sean and Colleen at 951-529-4066.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited: Crimes and Technology. You know, in my work, I meet some really incredible people, and I just wanted to share with you a little bit. I just had the finest experience last Saturday afternoon, and it's not something I normally would do, but it was just so uplifting. So in my work, there's a lot of organizations that are doing something similar to what I'm doing, maybe helping with victims or other people. And so I have a lot of opportunity to go out and attend functions, and I try to resist because I need a life. And like that, but I do have a good friend out in the, it wasn't Palm Desert. What is that? The Indian Wells area. That's where it was. And they held a fundraiser for this organization. The organization is called Mama's House. And I'm going to have Jan on one day. She is the executive director, I think her title is, but if not, she's at the top anyway. And she has put her heart and soul into building Mama's House out there. Mama's House is a place where if you're a pregnant young person and you want to keep the baby, that they will take you in. And that it is a structured kind of program that is really, really effective. Each girl gets her own place. She prepares to have her baby. She can keep her baby, or she can make arrangements. They will make arrangements to adopt the baby on. And it's a beautiful, beautiful environment. But what is interesting is you don't just go there and lounge around and wait for your day to come to have a baby. They take a look. Many of these kids have never completed high school. So they set up a curriculum for you, and they have all kinds of mentors who come and share with you and help you with your classwork. And if you don't speak English, they will assist in that language and language translation. They began to help you set goals and wanting to make a life for yourself so that if you keep the baby, you can have ways to support the baby. And it's just, they've been in business a long, long time. Well, they held a fundraiser. Now, you have to understand that Million Kids is a very small organization. We've never had an event like that. It's just not who we are, I guess. But this fundraiser had over 1,000 people at it. Holy cow. And some of the most amazing people you've ever met. The room was just full of successful people, successful leaders who were committed to helping a woman have a way to keep her baby and not abort her baby, or at least have the baby, even if she wants to have it adopted out, and give them a chance to have a life again without taking the life of that baby. And 1,000 people were in this room. The speaker was Dr. Ben Carson. And what an inspirational individual he was. He was absolutely hysterical. I mean, he had us rolling in the aisles at times. He's a stand-up comedian at times, but he's also incredibly inspirational. One of the things that he said that I really liked, apparently when he was running for president, somebody was trying to bait him about the race issue. And Dr. Carson's obviously Black and or African American, and he said, somebody asked him how he feels, because he is a neurosurgeon, how he feels about the race issue. And I guess they were expecting him to say, well, I'm the only Black neurosurgeon in my community or something like that. And he said, when I get in there, they're all the same color, pink, and I don't care. And I just love that about him, to level the playing field. All this division is not helpful. We're all people. We all have good points and bad points. Some are smarter than others. Some are more morally directed than others, but we're all people. And I just came out of there absolutely inspired to do more with my life. And I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'll have to get up a little bit earlier, I guess, because I'm pretty busy as it is. But it was so good to see so many people come together for good. And it was just a blessing to be involved. The other thing that happened to me this week that was also very, very wonderful is that I had the opportunity to work with the San Bernardino County District Attorney Victim Assistance Office. And that's headed up, of course, the DA is Jason Anderson over there. And that's headed up by Florida Alarcon. And so I had an absolute room full of people. They wanted to see the movie Sextortion, so that was good. And they wanted to hear about sextortion. But what I saw was face-to-face listening to people who direct victim services for San Bernardino County, and how uplifting that was. It's amazing how much these people care, that they're always looking for solutions. How do they think outside the box to help an individual that might be in need or needing to testify? They also have dogs over there. One of their dogs is cuter than our dog, but don't tell Chewy. Okay. They have, what do you call those dogs? I can't remember where that's a great big poodle thing, Anyway, they have dogs that they help with the victims when the victims have to go to court to testify. That can be extremely unnerving, especially for children who have been sexually violated or have been in a very traumatized situation. And so these are the people that work with the victims of crime and help them tell their story and help them overcome the trauma and like that. That is hard work. Those people are absolute saints, in my opinion, to be able to help people work through the trauma and find the right solutions. Riverside County has the same kind of thing, but I had not met the folks over at San Bernardino County in the Victim Advocate Office, and this gave me a chance to do that. And I was just so impressed. I came out of there saying, the world is a good place. And yes, a lot of bad happens, but there's also a lot of good people that, never get the accolades. You don't know who they are. They're social worker type people that go in and roll up their sleeves and listen to the hurt and the pain and the shame and the guilt and the frustration and the fear of what's going to happen next, and the fear of what's going to happen to their family or what's going to happen to them. And these are just simply amazing people. I could not do that work. I'm a law enforcement style trainer. I research and be involved in a lot of cases where I identify how crime takes place. But to be on that ground level, to listen to a girl who trusted a pimp, and he betrayed her and put her out for horrendous sex acts, and then they keep all the money. And a lot of times these are girls that come from bad homes or no homes, that have been in the foster system or maybe a product of a broken marriage. And they're out there kind of floundering around, and they make a decision to trust somebody who betrays them and betrays them in some of the worst ways. And not just betrays them once, but betrays them in such a way where they're put out night after night after night, often 6, 8, 10 times a night. And at the end of the day, all they get is, you get to live and do this tomorrow, and I am taking all your money. And if you don't perform, I'm going to hurt you and hurt you bad. And I may end up hurting your family. And that is a story of a victim of sex trafficking. It may have started out looking like someone was going to care for them and love them and cherish them and think they're wonderful and all the things that we all want for ourselves. And trust me, we all have the same innate desire. We all want to be loved. We all want to be liked. We all want to be admired. And we want one person who cares for us. But it is that bait that lures so many young girls, especially, into a life of sex trafficking. It looks like it's going to be someone who's going to take care of them and admire them, and it very quickly turns on them. And once they're in the life, it is very difficult to get back out. And that is the reality of the thing. So I was so impressed with the San Bernardino County District Attorney's Office, their victim advocacy office over there. It's ran by Florida, and she has just really assembled some very talented, very caring people who are willing to get creative and go the extra mile to help young people in the Inland Empire in at a time when maybe they've gotten in over their head and they can't find a way out. So there are many good things happening in our community, and I just really wanted to share that with you because I'm real proud of all of them. This is Opal Singleton. We are up against that break, so I'm going to ask you to stay with us. We'll be right back.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the darknet will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.
Hello, welcome back. This is Exploited Crimes and Technology. Well, I wanted to share with you about a press release that came out by the Riverside County Sheriff Department. I don't know if you know that you can do this, but you can go to the Riverside County Sheriff webpage and sign up for their press releases, and that might be a good way for you to stay current. But there was a case that's not a trafficking case. It's actually a gang-related case, but they're asking for more information. So I wanted to bring this to your attention if we can. The reporting deputy is Deputy Jacob Cooley. And they said that early in February, the task force, the gang task force, served multiple search warrants in Beaumont, Calamasa, and Cherry Valley. It's regarding ongoing drug sales investigation. The search warrant, through that, they seized 28 pounds of meth, 5.5 pounds of heroin, approximately 2,000 suspected M30 fentanyl pills, 2.5 pounds of suspected fentanyl powder, and approximately 400 glass smoking pipes used to smoke meth, and one unserialized handgun, ghost gun. So this is a pretty bad situation, and they're asking for information if you know anything about it. So the gentleman that was arrested is Julio Cesar Castillo, and he is looking at charges related to felon in possession of a firearm, felon in possession of ammunition, and possession of several controlled substances for sale. So what is happening here is this is out in the area of Calamasa area, Cherry Valley, and Beaumont, and he is a drug dealer alleged. I want to make that clear. This is early in the stages, so he has not been finalized and sentenced. However, they believe that a lot more people might know about this individual. His name is Julio Cesar Castillo, Castillo, Castillo. If you know this individual, if you know someone who's been approached by them, they are asking you to contact Officer Christopher on here, Christopher's son, or Deputy Jacob Cooley. Phone number 951-776-2553. 951-776-2553. Related to drug dealing out of the Calamasa area, Julio Cesar Castillo. So the other thing that happened earlier this year and earlier this month is that we had the Operation Reclaim and Rebuild, which often happens in January because January is National Human Trafficking Awareness Month. And my life turns to craziness is what happens. But what happens is the FBI comes in and they form groups and task forces, and they go out and they set up undercover sting operations. Now, the purpose of this is not just to arrest somebody who is soliciting for sex. The real purpose of this is to be able to identify people who might be pimping or pandering or might be harming people, and to really flush out and find those human trafficking victims that are out there. Now, our nation, the feds, the FBI, along with a lot of local law enforcement. And I actually have 3 pages of all the different law enforcement, but it included Riverside and San Bernardino County. They work with the FBI to do these reverse stings. And out of those reverse stings, statewide, they made 368 arrests, and it resulted in rescuing 131 potential victims of sex trafficking. Now, here in Riverside County, I didn't get the numbers for San Bernardino County. Shame on me. I should have done that. Anyway, here in Riverside, we had 31 arrests and 7 potential victims of human trafficking arrested. Now, one of the things that I wanted to ask about this, because many of you know that the law changed here in California. SB 357 is a law that says that law enforcement can no longer intervene if you're loitering to solicit for street prostitution. And there are clauses in that new law that say that if you've been charged with solicitation in the past or currently, that those charges will go away. So I asked my sergeant that I work with out on the task force, I said, well, how does that work when you're out there arresting 31 people and rescuing 7 individuals? But what his reply is this is basically related to people who are working sex tracks. Used to be University was a huge one, University Avenue over in Riverside, and G and 5th Street over in San Bernardino, and Holt Boulevard over in Ontario, still is, by the way. And over in LA, you get several of the streets that are going on over there that are what they call blades or tracks, where women are walking up and down the street soliciting prostitution. So basically what is happening here is when they do these undercover stings, they don't just try to set up and see what they can trap. It isn't like that. So what they do is they do what they call a furtherance, and making sure that these people have something in mind that will hold up in a court of law. But the real purpose of these is to ferret out and find those victims of sex trafficking and be able to go in there and rescue them and find out who is the pimp or the gang or the cartel that's running it, because they take all these women's money. The women oftentimes are very young girls, usually teenagers in many of the cases. Oftentimes, because of this new law, one of the things that's happening is they're being brought in from out of state. So it's real important for them to do that. So I'm very proud of all across the state of California to be able to rescue 131 individuals that are considered to be victims of human trafficking, and 7 here in Riverside. I also want to talk about the impact of this SB 357 as we're going along here, because we are seeing it already start to happen. You see, my concern on this, and those of you that follow this program know, I am absolutely against that bill. Governor Newsom says, no, we have not legalized street prostitution. I can't understand how you cannot do that if, in fact, law enforcement cannot intervene if you're loitering for the purposes of soliciting for street prostitution. If law enforcement can't intervene, how is that not legalizing it? And my concern for that is that, once you open up the state and make it a statement that law enforcement can't intervene, you are opening the doors of California to all kinds of organized crime. You have a lot of people crossing our borders and a lot of people who owe money to cartels. And cartels are amongst us. And these people will be used in prostitution to pay back debts. We have a lot of homeless people that need to make $20, and they're out on the street anyway. On top of it, what we're already seeing is pimps from all across the nation, and gangs and cartels are loading up their vans of girls and bringing them to California to make money. That is what sex trafficking is all about. If that girl was an adult and she chose to do that herself and she got to keep the money, that's a whole different discussion. But what is happening are these people are putting people out for commercial sex, and then a third party takes that money, and many times it's laundered back to Mexico or to China. We are seeing up in Oakland, what we're seeing is large groups of women are being brought in from Southeast Asia and other areas to be put out for prostitution. We're starting to come up against a break, but at the next section, I want to share with you a couple of articles that I've read out of Oakland where the prostitution rings are moving in, bringing in girls from out of state, leaving them off. They're barely dressed. They're walking up and down the street, leaving them off in front of private Catholic schools, leaving them off in front of businesses, leaving them off in front of people where they can't get out of their driveway. In fact, I'll just start this article and we'll come back to it. Headline: Suspected prostitution ring moves into California neighborhood outside Catholic school. The pimp is blocking my driveway. Some of the girls are only 15 to 16 years old, according to one of the local Oakland City leaders, Mr. Gallo. So we're going to talk about SB 357 in depth in the next segment. So I'm going to ask you, we are coming up against that break, so stay with us. We're going to be right back as we cover about how this is all happening. Be right back. Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited, Crimes and Technology. I want to tell you about a book I wrote called Seduced, The Grooming of America's Teenagers. It's all about how predators access, groom, recruit, and exploit our young people using social media, online gaming, video chat rooms. Technology is changing at the speed of light, and we have to understand how to keep our kids safe from predators. So you can get this book by going to www.millionkids.org. It's $16. I'll sign it and I'll ship it to you personally. We hope that you will order this book, educate yourself about how to keep our kids safe in this day of changing technology. Join us each Saturday for our radio show at Exploited, Crimes and Technology at 3 o'clock on AM 590. The Answer.
Custom Service Systems, a proud supporter of Million Kids, is a family-owned and operated commercial cleaning company servicing the Inland Empire and surrounding areas since 1974. CSS takes pride in their ability to maintain the business facilities they serve and their long-lasting relationships with their valued clients. CSS provides a variety of cleaning systems customized to client needs, including deep cleaning and disinfectant to be COVID-19 compliant. From basic office cleaning to windows and floors, CSS will clean up your mess so you don't have to stress. Custom Service Systems cares about families and communities and wants to give back. Custom Service Systems are proud supporters of Million Kids to keep kids safe from predators. If you need the best cleaning services for your business or corporation, contact Custom Service Systems at cssclean.com. Again, cssclean.com, or call 951-781-9345. That's 951-781-9345. You will know you found the best. Custom Service Systems.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Let me tell you about my friend Doris Anderson at RE/MAX Realty in Upland. She is amazing. She's kind, she's patient, but she listens. And she's informed, and she will help you with your real estate transaction in a way that works for you. Doris, in full disclosure, often supports the work of Million Kids because she cares about young people. But she knows how to analyze a market, how to market a property, and how to find just the right transaction for both buyers and sellers. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate or invest in income property, contact Doris Anderson at RE/MAX Realty, 951-733-8899. That's 951-733-8899. 951-733-8899.
AM 590. The Answer.
Hello, and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. We were talking about the impact of SB 357, and I was talking with my producer at the break, and he was saying that he saw this on one of the Fox News And I heard that it was on out there. I was so busy, I was probably training that night and I missed it, and I'll have to look it up. I am really happy to see people who are prominent get this out into the public. We're just getting started, folks. You haven't even seen 1% of what is about to happen. Mark my word on it. It will be that way. Apparently, one of the things that was being said is that they're bringing in all these girls to work from out of state and they're recruiting other girls. Well, that's no surprise to me. 60% of girls in prostitution are recruited by another girl. That is how it works. You think it's going to be a male pimp. Not always. These girls, it's called a bottom girl. It isn't exactly called that, but this is a family show, so we'll call it a bottom girl. Anyway, that girl has a quota to earn each night, and she can either earn it or she can recruit others to earn it. So how hard is that? And so that is one reason why so many young girls get caught up in it, because they turn to a girlfriend who understands them and starts to put them out in there. I want to share this article with you. The headline, Suspected Prostitution Ring Moves into California Neighborhood Over a Catholic School, just in case you want to Google it yourself. This is an Oakland, California community is in shock. They haven't seen anything yet. We are just getting started. We're only, 30 of 44 days into this, and we're just getting started. By this time next year, you will not recognize your community. I mark my word on it. This is why I fought so hard to fight this. And it's amazing to me how nobody knows about this bill. I want to just give you a little bit of background about this bill. This bill, actually, it's SB 357, if you want to look it up, California Senate bill, SB 357. This bill actually passed in October of 2021. It was sponsored by Senator Scott Wiener, and it is called a human trafficking bill. It's called the California Safer Streets Act. If that one doesn't make you sick, there's nothing safer about our streets because of this act. But what was fascinating to me is the bill actually passed the House and the Assembly in October of 2021, and it was held at Senator Wiener's desk for 9 months. I have not seen that happen. I thought once bills passed those House and Assembly, they would go to the governor and he would sign them. But it was quietly set upon until we finished the recall election, and then until the primary election. And it was clear that Governor Newsom was going to be reelected. And 3 days later, he quietly signed that bill saying this will not legalize street prostitution. And I say to myself, what will it do if it doesn't? Because it says very specifically, law enforcement cannot intervene if you're loitering for street prostitution. So I want to go back to my article because I want you to see this is like the dam about to break. An Oakland, California community is in shock after repeatedly seeing groups of suspected prostitutes and human trafficking victims reportedly soliciting outside a Catholic grade school. So they're quoting Mr. Gallo. I think Mr. Gallo is, he's an Oakland City Councilman, Noel Gallo. He says, I get the call saying, Mr. Gallo, I can't get out of my home. The pimp is blocking my driveway. He gets weekly calls he receives from East Oakland. It is absolutely constant. The Oakland Police Department is beefing up patrols at the K through 8 St. Anthony Catholic School after parents and school leaders sounded the alarm on the young, scantily clad women and girls they see walking near East 15th Street in Oakland. Last week, ABC7 reported that as parents arrived at the grade school on Monday morning, a suspected prostitute was already near the school, soliciting right in front of the school gate. However, that's not uncommon, they go on to say. It's every day, during all periods of the day, a local mother, Rosa Vargas, told the news outlet. Vargas said the women are typically wearing skimpy outfits, even some mostly naked, and often standing right in front of the gate of the school. Pimps have even followed her, Vargas, down, that's the mother that's talking, down the street on a couple of occasions. Goes on to say, nearby International Boulevard has long been plagued with prostitution and other crimes. They're saying that's a prostitution blade or a track. But construction on East 12th has pushed the prostitutes into the residential area. Some of the girls are only 15 or 16 years old. That is called sex trafficking. Anytime a minor under the age of 18 is engaging in commercial sex, forced or unforced, that they are a victim of trafficking. We've seen up to 20 women walking up and down the street, very young girls. Says Rodney Pierre Antoine, who oversees a network of local Catholic elementary schools, including St. Anthony, said the police are left in a tough spot to take care of the situation, citing a recently enacted bill that prohibits officers from arresting people on suspicion of prostitution. They went on to say they're somewhat handcuffed. The bill, this is just amazing me, the bill authored by Senator Scott Wiener was aimed at protecting transgender women who Wiener said are disproportionately targeted by the police. Local police have since sounded off the bill prevents them from rescuing the young girls who have been trafficked. And the article goes on to say, as they quote Scott Wiener, that he's saying that the situation is unacceptable, but it has nothing to do with his bill. And that's exactly the problem with this, is nobody is going to hold anybody accountable. Everybody's going to point the finger back and forth at each other. So we are about 45 days into this bill taking effect, and this has already started. We've seen it in San Diego at the military bases where they're lined up there in 5-inch heels and pasties and G-strings. And we're seeing it over in downtown LA in a big way that hold tracks. There's one track over there. We can't think of the name of that street right now. Figueroa Street, where they had over 50 girls in a 2-block area soliciting. And this is going to span out across our state. And the state is going to say that they are not responsible and that it is not the result of the bill. But I'm going to tell you that our doors of California are wide open. They're wide open at the border, and they're wide open to people bringing in girls for prostitution and for sex. And they're wide open to violate homeless people that are out there, the undocumented people that are trying to make money. You know, all of this is going to be an issue. But where it really comes down to is there are no restrictions on that bill. They can do this prostitution in front of your home, in front of your business, in front of your kid's school. There are no limitations on this bill. So I think that we are where we are because of who we've elected and what we've chosen in our path here. But I am going to continue to fight against this. As long as I have this microphone and you're willing to listen, I want to keep you informed. I'm very concerned about where this is going. There is a new bill that I want you to take a look at, and that is SB 14. That bill will make sex trafficking a violent and serious crime. SB 14. If you will go to Senator Shannon Grove's website, Shannon Grove, and sign on to that bill. There is a link there that says that you will support that bill. The reason that's so important is that it will make victims of sex trafficking so that their perpetrators cannot just get off easy and go to prison and come right back out or not even get charged at all. Right now, sex trafficking, actually child sex crimes, but sex trafficking are not considered violent and serious in the state of California. We are asking your help to look at SB 14. Go to Shannon Grove, that's a senator, Senator Shannon Grove, and sign up on that link to show that you support that sex trafficking should be violent and serious. Actually, I think it's human trafficking. So my name is Opal Singleton. This show is brought to you by Million Kids. I'd ask you to go to millionkids.org. We're going to try to get that link on our site so you can also sign up there if you want to. millionkids.org. We're going to ask you to please follow us, support us financially if you can. We need each and every one of you that we can to fight what is happening in our state. Put your arms around your family and let them know you love them. And we're going to see you next Saturday at 3 o'clock on AM 590.
This message is all about Million Kids, the organization that helps locate missing kids throughout Southern California and educates to keep kids safe from predators. Million Kids educates school administrators, teachers, parents, and teenagers how predators identify a potential victim and the methods they use to recruit innocent kids. BMW of Riverside is a proud supporter of Million Kids. Visit BMW of Riverside at the Adams Street exit off the 91 freeway or click bmwofriverside.com.